Hello. This is going to be a 5-part series on what the next Super Smash Bros. Game could be like, whenever that might release. Now Nintendo fans might be debating this topic of whether or not a new Super Smash Bros. Game will be made. My answer is, of course there will be. It's an integral part of Nintendo's hardware and software sales. For Sakurai to even express how he would question such decision is utterly mind-blowing. Nintendo and I need to discuss and seriously consider how to make it a success. You know what I would do if I were whoever was in charge at Nintendo? Give the job to somebody else. The first thing I would do if I were to propose another Smash Bros. Game is to get Sakurai away from it as far as possible. There are a handful of reasons why this is the right decision. Firstly, and most importantly, he constantly holds the product back from making it the most profitable product possible. Smash Bros. Ultimate managed to sell over 25 million copies, despite Sakurai, not because of Sakurai. It's painfully obvious at this point that he does not make decisions based on the interest of expanding his consumer base. The man is clearly out of touch with what's supposed to make his products a success, and he's just so fortunate that the Switch and its momentum was able to carry him. He'll spend Nintendo's hard-earned money to fulfill his own desires and then make excuses. Sara is not going to make back the costs it took to get him in the first place. It is not gonna happen. Having the next cookie-cutter Fire Emblem character as DLC isn't going to sell copies of Fire Emblem. It is not gonna happen, nor should another game be any of your business. If his goal was actually to create the world's largest JRPG orgy, he has certainly succeeded, but how does this motivate non-JRPG fans to buy the game? And let's not forget the previous game, in which his plan of making both the 3DS and Wii U rosters did nothing to help the Wii U at all. It's astonishing how he continues getting chance after chance. So I don't get why we can't consider another person that could easily do a better job. Reason number 2, the man constantly lies and makes excuses for his decisions. People need to start understanding that basically much of what he claims about his game and his dealings with other companies can easily be disputed. For example, Sakurai can give you any indication possible about Square Enix being the most demanding, most stingy company to work with by not having any sort of collection of items, assist trophies, spirits, and extensive music playlist. All you have to do to realize this man is fabricating is simply to look on Google for games that feature Square Enix's content. It's really insulting how he expects his consumers to not even question these things. So I'd rather have a director that can be more transparent. For that matter, reason number 3, I'd rather have a director that stays behind the scenes and doesn't try to be bigger than his own product. Just like Tony Khan that runs AEW, Sakurai's public obnoxiousness can make fans turn against him and his product. For fans who may be looking to buy Smash Bros. And see this guy's face plastered everywhere, and fans treating him like a king or god can be really off-putting. They don't want to join a cult, they want to buy and enjoy a product. Reason number 4, he's not the creative genius he says he is. When you look at Ultimate, he hasn't done anything that's really innovative or engaging. I made videos like this one before Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was even announced talking about some neat concepts for game modes or features, and they didn't happen. I'm not going to knock Sakurai for not doing them, but some of these concepts later found their way in similar games like Multiversus. What did Super Smash Bros. Ultimate have instead? Echo Fighters, Spirits, a board-like single-player mode. I'm fine with all these things, but I don't see them as groundbreaking. If they're not poorly executed ideas, they were just borrowed from previous Smash Bros. Games as more watered-down content. We've seen quite a devolution of features from each passing game, and that's quite disappointing considering each project is supposed to gradually get more teams working on it. Therefore, I don't really have confidence in this guy to make a game that's going to reverse this dwindling trend. As for gameplay mechanics, there isn't anything that stands out as new or innovative that isn't just making a character op, like Byleth's final Smash Arrow. People are going to pressure me by asking, if Sakurai isn't the director, then who would the director be? Quite frankly, we don't need a celebrity for a director. Think of all the great games you may have played over the past decade. Do you know who produced or directed those games? No. For the most part, a director is a behind-the-scenes role, so while I'm sure many directors in the gaming industry do a great job, they're not as outgoing like Sakurai, and that's okay. We don't need a celebrity working on a fighting game. So yeah, I don't have a particular name in mind, but that's why you interview potential candidates and hire the best of that group. We are long overdue for change, and that starts with the roster. Now, Sakurai claims that it's going to be impossible to have this many fighters and series represented again. This is yet one of his fabrications. If you can get the rights to a character once, you can certainly do so again. The question I ask is, why would you want to? There is just so much filler in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's roster, even among the third-party lineup, that the product could do very well without. I do understand that having all the characters come back was one of the major appeals in the game, but an argument can be made that you can spend time, money and resources elsewhere. I can also see how getting rid of character disappoint consumers that might happen to play as them frequently, but the goal here is not to please the fans that have always supported the product, because they'll always support the product. The goal is to make more of them. So, we shouldn't be focusing on quantity, we should be focusing on quality. We can still have a roster that's still pretty big, but there will just be more purpose to each character chosen. When considering a list of characters, the three things to look for is inclusivity, marketability, and timelessness. Inclusivity, no, this isn't me trying to make Smash Bros. A woke product with political ideologies. Instead, by having an inclusive approach, let's give ourselves the chance to make the roster diverse in the sense of gameplay, rather than it being replete with certain archetypes, like the so-called sorties. That means more zoners, more rush-down characters, more big men, etc. Next, of course, having a marketable roster should be extremely important, so that fans of other games would be willing to spend the money necessary to embrace their favorite characters as they battle it out with Mario and other all-stars. And of course, we want to have a timeless evergreen roster that can hold up well and attract new fans years after release, without getting outdated with last Tuesday characters that become more obsolete as time goes on. That doesn't mean that we'll do away with all the retro characters, as certain retro characters can also be timeless if they're still iconic or carry a legacy of their own, and some of these characters in Smash Bros. Happen to already. So, let's get started. Jigglypuff would be cut because she could serve a more fitting role in the game. Dr. Mario would be cut because he could simply be a skin of Mario. Pichu would be cut so the team could spend their resources to make another character. Falco would be cut because he is not all that different from Fox. Not all decisions are easy, and this was one of the tougher ones I had to make. Lucina would be cut because she is not all that different from Marth. Having a different sword tip simply does not justify a completely new character slot. Young Link would be cut so the team could spend their resources to make another character. Roy would be cut because once again, he is not worth keeping. Chrome would be cut for the same reason Roy would be not worth it for characters that neither have legacies or futures. Mr. Game & Watch would be cut because, for now, it's a secret. Dark Pit would be cut because he could simply be a skin of Pit. Zero Suit Samus would be cut because we don't need one character to take up 2 slots. Ike would be cut just like the other Fire Emblem characters. No legacy, no future, why invest time to bring him back? Lucas would be cut because he's not all that different from Ness. Wii Fit Trainer would be cut because she has very little appeal and is not worth keeping. Rosalina and Luma would be cut because her moveset just doesn't work, and she could serve a more fitting role in the game. Greninja would be cut so the team could spend their resources to make another character. Palutena would be cut because she could serve a more fitting role in the game. Robin would be cut because what's the point of keeping him? I can understand if players main him, but let's be real, they're not going to pass the next game if this character isn't there. Duck Hunt would be cut because they could serve a more fitting role in the game. Now we're getting in the third-party / DLC territory where the explanations will end up being more different than before. We are cutting Ken. Because he is not all that different from Ryu, and I'd rather have the resources go towards another character. This Echo Fighter concept is also lackluster. Corrin would be cut because there's no point in keeping him, just like the other Fire Emblem characters. Bayonetta would be cut because just like YE Fit Trainer, she's not marketable, and that's why it's taken so long for her to get a sequel. If you have to pay for a character, pick one that can draw money. Don't pick one that you wish could draw money, because they won't. It's like drafting a 7th round pick as your number 1 player overall, because you want that player to be a superstar caliber performer. That's not how this works. Richter would be cut because he's not all that different from Simon. Incineroar would be cut because, just like Mr. Game & Watch, it's a secret for now. Piranha Plant would be cut simply because he is not all that essential. Despite him being a Mario character, I do not see him as a high priority Mario character. Joker would be cut because he wouldn't be evergreen by the time another Persona game would release. Maybe there's a chance that Joker's time in the spotlight could continue, but I just have my assurance that that won't be the case. I could definitely imagine Sakurai keep both Joker and introduce another Persona character, but at least in this alternate reality, thank God he's not here. Banjo and Kazooie would be cut because why would you want to put the spotlight on a rival company that makes their own gaming hardware? There is no upside to Banjo. None. There is no audience to gain. The beloved fans that clamored for him will still support the product without him, and it only helps Microsoft and gives them motivation to make a product that would cause you to buy an Xbox console. The decision never made sense and still doesn't. Byleth would be cut because he too would be another outdated character. I have the impression that there would be another Fire Emblem game, and in that case, what good is Byleth? Min Min would be cut so the team could spend their resources to make another character. Sephiroth would be cut because you simply don't need him. Cloud was your man that helped draw eyeballs among the Final Fantasy community, and anybody else is a waste of money. Now that the damage has been done, I would say what the hell, keep him in, but let's instead use the time and resources for another character that could better help the product. You don't need him, and you never did. Pyra and Mithra would be cut so the team could spend their resources to make another character. And finally, Sora. No explanation needed. So, in total, we have removed 32 characters, and including the Mii fighters, we are left with 54 still in the product. So in essence, close to 40% of the Smash Bros. Ultimate roster hasn't served a good purpose. I personally would not mind parting with any of them. I know cutting Jigglypuff is going to ruffle some feathers, I know I'm used to playing as Piranha Plant, but change is necessary. Even without 32 characters, though, this looks like a really strong roster. There are some oddball characters that are still apparently on this roster, and I'd like to explain them. Daisy and Dark Samus should easily be their own character, not just be a clone of another character. Ice Climbers I was on the fence with, but I left them in due to their uniqueness as a tandem character. Sheik was another sketchy character I thought about removing, but like the Ice Climbers, there wasn't that many speedy, lightweight brawler-type characters like her left on the roster. I know that Lucario is kind of stale, but I didn't want to remove too many Pokémon, since I know it's one of video gaming's biggest franchises. I kept Kazuya, even though he's not the most marketable Tekken character as of now. In Tekken 7, Heihachi is supposed to be killed, but there's always the chance that he can still be in future games in some form, just like the Joker in Injustice 2. If Heihachi was the character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, then I definitely want his return, no question. People would expect me getting rid of Steve, but why? Minecraft is a very successful game and Steve was definitely a huge get. And unlike Banjo, he's not Microsoft property, he's Mojang property, and that's a huge difference. Microsoft rightfully left Mojang the control over their own game that sold more than any of Microsoft's own IPs. I could easily remove the cause here like I removed Persona's Joker, but unlike Joker, Kazuya at least, is a staple character in the series, and the chances of him appearing in the next Tekken game are 99.9%. So for now, he's still here, but let's wait and see what happens. So, which characters would be added instead? Let me say right now that I do not have 32 slots. As I said before, let's focus on quality, not quantity. So, what's a good number to add? I have to keep in mind that there will always be the need to add more characters from Nintendo's Big 4 or Big 5, as in Nintendo's most successful IP. We can also pad the roster with several obscure characters that can offer something unique to the table. And of course, third-party characters can certainly help drive sales and attract new customers, but for this list, there won't be as many as some might hope. So I ended up with a total of 15 new characters. I think that's a decent amount, and whether or not that includes DLC, I don't really have such preference. So this brings the total number of fighters to 69, which is not bad at all. So, who would these 15 newcomers be? There will certainly be some surprises here and there. And to prevent viewers from just skimming through the preview bar, I won't be showing any images or gameplay footage. Anyone who's in the hardcore Smash community and feels so gutted about my views and so offensive if I object anything that the common Smash Brothers loyalist believes in, today is your lucky day. It's your lucky day. Here he is. Waluigi. Being a highly requested character doesn't matter, he's still a very well-known character for those that play various Super Mario games. And quite frankly, there's a lot of avenues you can go with him in terms of how he would perform in the game. Compared to the next Fire Emblem character, Waluigi is hands down a more successful and a more evergreen character. Technically, we have 2 Mario characters as newcomers. This second character has been around for over 20 years, but never was considered, likely due to the incapabilities of the Smash Bros. Engine. Hypothetically, this is why I would axe Mr. Game & Watch. So, this second character is Paper Mario. Much like Toon Link, Paper Mario is considered a truly different entity from the original Mario who has his own series, not like Dr. Mario. I feel as though Sakurai considers Dr. Mario a consolation for not being able to make Paper Mario possible. Choosing a different graphics engine can certainly make this possible, and if that means Mr. Game & Watch would not longer be possible, it's worth the change. Moving on to another successful Nintendo IP, The Legend of Zelda has not gotten a new character since Super Smash Bros. Brawl. There are a few candidates for a new Zelda character, but only one really stands out from the rest. That would be Impa. Having been a character referenced all the way back in the first Legend of Zelda game, inside the game's manual, Impa has taken on numerous forms, both young and old. She does have combat experience, and arguably the version of Impa I would go with is her appearance from Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. Since Greninja's no longer a character, I feel we've been in need of more ninja-like fighters. I'm aware that Sheik is quote, supposed to be the same race as Impa, but there are also some changes to pre-existing characters that I'd like to express in part of this series, so stay tuned for that. This may be yet another surprising character on this list, but I feel it is one that's most fitting of all the characters in this IP. And that is, with no regrets, Tom Nook. Now you might be asking 3 Animal Crossing characters might be overkill considering they're all very basic in terms of powers and capabilities. But nobody said that you can't think outside the box to make Nook stand out from Isabelle and the Villager. Being he sells furniture and collects debt, that would definitely make for a unique character with potential for innovation, most certainly. Mr. Resetti was the other character from Animal Crossing I have thought about. While he does brandish a pickaxe and can offer ground-based mechanics, I can't really picture him being fleshed out in terms of flexibility. Now we draw our attention to Pokémon, and we really have an underlying problem when it comes to this IP. Because yes, while Pokémon is one of the best-selling series in existence, the characters however become outdated once the next games are released, like Greninja, like Incineroar, like any starting Pokémon in its highest evolved form. But the thing to do would be to announce a Pokémon from the latest game, whatever that might be by the time this Smash Bros. Game would be in development. Even if the character would be replaced one game later, it's worth it to draw in fans of Pokémon. So, that's all the new characters from Nintendo's biggest IPs. Splatoon is also among these IPs, but unfortunately, I don't really picture an addition character that warrants a playable status in Super Smash Bros. Now, we can definitely update the pre-existing inkling. And I'll certainly need to explain more later on in the series. Character number 6, believe it or not, it's a Fire Emblem character to be determined. Like Pokemon, make the newest main character, and then replace him in the next game. Just to clarify, I've never had a problem with Fire Emblem. I've been playing Fire Emblem since Radiant Dawn on the Wii. The problem with Fire Emblem is how Sakurai treats it like a major IP when it clearly isn't. That doesn't mean it should get shafted entirely, though, just get rid of the characters that don't serve any purpose towards the benefit of the Smash Bros. Product. Marth, as well as a new character, is enough. We don't need 8. 2 is fine. This next fighter is a classic character. Now you can notice that Palutena is not on this roster, and I have a good reason for that. She is not marketable, she is as niche as they come. Additionally, she's considered a goddess with omnipotent capabilities, so it doesn't make sense to have her be human-sized when she could clearly crush any fighter with the palm of her hand. Now there is a character that not only more classic Kid Icarus players are fond of, but she is also not omnipotent, and that is Medusa. Not only is this one for the villain column, but she can also be a suitable replacement for Rosalina without the Luma mechanics. And for Pete's sake, do not let Susie from the Rugrats be her voice actor. So, this is the 8th character. It's merely a replacement of a cut character, and it might upset some people, but I have my reasons. And it's none other than Spring Man. Why Spring Man? Anything Sakurai said about Spring Man not being marketable and not being the main character is garbage. He's an all-rounder in the game, he's one of the first characters they revealed, he's on the box art. It doesn't matter if he doesn't happen to be the first Google image result if I type in his name. If we were to hold characters to that standard, then we should cut Joker, Robin, Cloud, and other characters for that reason. Truth be told, an ARMS character in Smash Bros. Could be a lot funner if Sakurai didn't try to imitate the stiff ARMS fighting style. If the character showed more personality, rather than throw a limb out on every single command, it would actually be more appealing to make a character like Spring Man, rather than resort to a character with one unique move like Min Min. So for number 9, we have Rex and Pyra. Not Pyra by herself, or transforming into Mithra. Why? Because the roster can use more tandem characters, and this pairing could actually work like Noob Saibot and Smoke from Mortal Kombat 11. I personally was not impressed by Mithra and Pyra, and it's basically an unoriginal way for Sakurai to include 2 waifus into one, without making the other into an echo fighter. I feel there are mechanics that can be explored that would be better implemented than Rosalina and Luma. And if Bayonetta can summon giant limbs, then Rex can have Pyra or Mithra. I'm tired of the excuses. For a new retro character, I had a choice between 3. The first was Takamero, and unfortunately, because there are enough sword wielders already, Takamero got the shaft. The second choice was Ray MK3, and while he seemed like a creative choice, I didn't want there to be 2 new characters that were similar in concept, the other being Spring Man. Oddly enough, this character or other characters from his game never got any spirits in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Who am I talking about? None other than fighter Hayabusa. He could make for a suitable timeless replacement over Incineroar, with more emphasis on grappling. Big, heavy and slow like Ganondorf, it may seem like a budget Mike Haggar, but at least he's a budget and would add more to the heavy fighter column. 5 characters left. Here, I'm going to leave this slot open to a mystery character from an IP we don't yet know about. It could be an action game, a shooter, an RPG, just a character from a new Nintendo IP that has yet to be revealed, and I'd think that it would at least be semi-successful. So, the last 4 characters are going to be third-party. I could have a long list of third-party characters that would make great additions to the game, but if I were to blow my load on so many characters, there wouldn't be as many to choose from for the next game after this. People are going to ask, well, how are you going to make lots of money with only 4 third-party characters? Sure, there are only 4 here, but they're 4 popular ones, 4 diverse ones, 4 marketable ones. Each character can certainly make their money back and more. For Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's DLC, you had some third-party characters that did not appeal to a broad amount of people, or they appealed to people you've won over already, so they don't make money. It's hard to make a return on investment, and that also eats away at the success that other characters possibly have drawn. So these 4 characters won't be wastes of money, they'll all be guaranteed to draw in more software and hardware sales, where that's how the product actually makes its money. And if Sakurai doesn't like these characters, then tough shit. About time he should realize he can't always get what you want. This first character is Ryu Hayabusa. Not the first Ryu, and not the first Hayabusa. But how is this character not in Super Smash Bros. Already? Having been an icon in gaming since the 80s, various Ninja Gaiden revivals and appearances in the Dead or Alive series. You can pull from various different games for moves and abilities, and there's enough for him to have 2 move sets that you can switch by pressing down B. Third to last character. Capcom's biggest IP as of now. I was conflicted with the number of characters you could go with. I have ultimately decided on Leon Kennedy. He's not the first main character, but any gamer is able to tell who that is from that bowl cut of his. Additionally, he happens to be the main character of the best Resident Evil games, most notably 2 and 4. If you feel uneasy about the concept of a character that doesn't use a sword or magic, then you're not a creative person. The goal here is to draw in Resident Evil fans, not flatter Sakurai. The 14th character. A pioneer in gaming, and yet another long overdue entry, Lara Croft. Why? The better question is, why not? What is a good reason to not consider a character that is marketable enough for movies, Netflix series, and appearances in other games like Brawlhalla, Ghost Recon Breakpoint and Fortnite? Aside from Final Fantasy, Tomb Raider is the second most important IP throughout Square Enix's entire history. And with a slew of different versions, there's a whole bunch of source material you can pull from. I'd certainly rather have a woman that can climb, use guns and work with contemporary objects, rather than the umpteenth RPG character with swords and magic. We've now come down to the last character, and it belongs to the best-selling series in its genre. And this character is Scorpion. And I can certainly anticipate a bunch of raised eyebrows, because there's already a ninja character as DLC, and Mortal Kombat is practically the only major fighting game that is yet to be represented in Smash Bros. Fair points. The thing is, though, he is perhaps one of the biggest and longest-lasting video game characters from the West. While Assassin's Creed has amassed far more copies sold, there is not one character that is evergreen. So yeah, Scorpion. He's always been popular worldwide, he does not age, and he has a great moveset potential to boot. So that's the roster. 69 fighters, thought about who to add, who to cut, and just who to not consider. There were many characters, some of which I personally would like to have, such as Ray MK3, Takamero, Crystal, Rayman. I even considered a Monster Hunter character. And these characters just did not seem like good fits at this time. Smash Bros. Ultimate has 89 characters. And while 69 only makes a 22% smaller roster, I can really consider it to be more of an all-star roster with minimal filler and leaving the team more focus on other areas of the game. I've decided to keep the Mii costumes because that is an additional avenue of content that the team can continue to make money with. If you're mad about the cuts, don't worry. In the next chapter of this 5-part series, I'll hope to make some concessions on many of these characters with new elements to Smash Bros. So stay tuned for that.